Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news.
No, go ahead, man. This is hilarious.
Breaking news.
I can't decide if you're
The band is back together again. That's right. The famous combo, Garen and David. We're back together again. That's right. We took a week off because someone got sick.
Keep on, I'll kiss you.
I'm not making any moves as to who got sick, but someone got sick.
With tongue.
Ooh, God. Oh, okay. I'm shutting up.
Change your world.
So anyway, another person, but I love you, man, but not that way.
You know.
Hetero life partners, buddy.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I'm not gay. That's the hug pat right there.
We'll have to do that on camera sometime.
With a Printed Panel podcast, yes, we are. And I had way too much sugar today, clearly. So now we're doing the review episode for the comics we read last week.
February 26th.
February 26th. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fun times. Actually, it was a really it wasn't a really good week. It was just a good week.
You really literally just can't take a breath right now, can you? You are so excited.
But it's so much fun. Okay, so
we really do have a lot of fun, guys.
Well, this is the thing, and people who come to our local comic book store, Nirvana, when they see me, if people ask about comics, literally my face lights up because. And I'm not that guy that's like, oh, you're just coming in here because of me. No. You want to talk about comics? Let's talk about comics. You want to talk about X-Men? Let's talk about X-Men. The only disappointing thing to me is when people are like, oh, I stopped reading in the 90s. I'm like, oh.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Why?
Let me show you what good comics are.
There's a local guy here, I won't mention names, who used to be a comic book dealer a long time ago, who also kind of gave up comics. He just does Silver Age stuff now. And he and I talked, and I gave up in the 90s. I'm like, why? He said, well, girls. I'm like, okay, well, that's fair. But when he got back into it, he didn't recognize who people were. He sees this new character Bishop, this new character Gambit, doesn't know what's going on.
Bishop was born in the 90s. Objection.
But when you quit in the early 90s, and it's the late 90s, and anyway, so
he quit in the late 80s. Gotcha.
So he quit literally, and I talked to him. He said, I just can't go back into it. I said, so have you not read House and Powers? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, so take it from someone who's read for as long as you have, and I was a comic book dealer for a long time too, a long time, 4 years. Yeah, that's not that long, but
it's pretty damn long. Surviving past a year as a comic shop.
Surviving, yeah. But I said to him, House and Powers has been one of the best comic book runs ever, much less X-Men. I mean, Hickman has done an amazing job, and he's like, he looks at me and says, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, I'm serious." I said, if it wasn't great, I wouldn't tell you it was great. It's just not who I am. If I didn't really love it, if I didn't think it was worth people reading. And it's funny, the people who have picked up, even the hardcover, who can't get the 12 issues because they're hard to find now, who have all told me they've loved it. Mm-hmm. Who have come back and said, okay, yeah, let me get some of the Dawn of X, see how it goes. I would say, just take out Fallen Angels and you're fine. I did have one.
it's 6 issues.
I did have one of our regular customers who really loved Fallen Angels, though. It was interesting, and I understood his perspective on it, and I actually really respect Daniel. He's a good guy, and I understood his perspective on it. So it wasn't my favorite of that bunch, clearly, but I get why he liked it.
All right, so now we're going to start recording this actual review episode. Missed this.
Were we not recording just now?
Oh no, we're recording on YouTube,
okay,
but yeah, we're not. Podcast is not going to hear any of that.
Damn it! Seriously, none of my soliloquy. Wow.
That was a complete aside. Yes, it was a Shakespearean in its excellence.
Acting.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Printed Panel Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Garen.
And today we're going to talk about the books we read on February 26th. This is that lovely review episode. Please take the time. There's about a 5-minute soliloquy that Garen just gave on YouTube.
Hey, listen, this is David's fault. He brought in Krispy Kreme donuts. He should not have done that. He knows better than to give me sugar, and it was his own fault for giving me sugar.
You heard it here.
Saying.
David gave
sugar
Garen
sugar. Sugar is in Krispy Kreme donuts. Not the other any weirder kind of sugar you're talking about.
Why's it got to be weird?
You were going to make it weird just now. I could tell. See? You had to make it weird. You couldn't just... Oh,
nope.
You let it go.
Nope. Hey, once I got a hold of it, I'm not letting go.
Bam! That's what she said. All right, so... God, I went way too much sugar today. So, let's talk about comic books.
I thought you weren't going to tell your wife about the donuts. She listens.
Damn, she does listen.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Sorry, Heather.
Hey, to be fair, Heather, I brought donuts for you too, and you just weren't here.
I may or may not have eaten yours as well.
Well, I helped. All right, so let's kick it off with the Blaze Comics and Mirka Andolfo's Unsacred.
Not Unsacred. Mirka Andolfo's Unsacred.
Absolutely. It goes under M.
It just gets dumber every comic. Every panel gets dumber. I will say this, meeting the family on both sides was kind of fun. And
well, and the moms met or walked past each other in the grocery store in issue 1.
Yeah.
And so this is...
Yeah, now it's officially the moms get together.
17 years later.
And of course, they're now complete... Man. Yeah, one's kind of the white trash family. One is the highfalutin family, and yeah, this is pretty great. I will say the art is so beautiful. You don't even need word bubbles in these. I don't care what the language is. It doesn't really matter. I can just get it from context. So,
well, and it's interesting to look at a relationship from the perspective of a woman.
Sure.
And I think I've probably been the pervy devil that have been with a few people over the years. And
I don't know what you mean,
and
sir.
she takes that from a totally innocent, sweet place. So I really dig the story because it is just wholesome fun.
Well, it is not wholesome. That's the worst part because she's naked half the time now. I mean, there's no pretense anymore. She's just naked most of the time.
And she did stick the vibrator up his
Oh
booty.
my god!
That was.
I was hoping you weren't going to say that.
Oh no, I had to say it.
I wasn't going to talk about it.
Hey guys, we have had some thought about breaking out all of these things that are a little inappropriate and doing a once monthly, like,
completely, totally inappropriate, no holds barred. We're gonna swear and have fun and talk about all the sex stuff and all that. So, yeah.
So if that interests you, please drop us a line, drop us a comment, because we do want this to be presentable to kids, and I did just say the word vibrator. So sorry for those parents out there having to explain that right now. And the fact I called attention to it probably wasn't good either. So,
sorry.
What's your next?
Sorry, Benfer. I have from Boom Comics, I have Folklords #4. We actually started to see more and more of what's really going on in this place because the librarians are... We find that librarians are essentially they're elves that are kind of controlling the perceptions of what's really going on in this place. But in reality, one of the librarians we see, the knight we see, is actually human. He's actually from the modern world where all these things are happening. He's just hidden himself. He's gotten stuck here somehow. That's my perception anyway. That hasn't fully come to fruition. We did find out that the troll here, she actually isn't really a troll. She was a regular person in this universe that was stuck with this troll disease. And they kept telling her, well, find the right person. And it's like the ugly, like the frog kisses the prince or princess or whatever. So this is kind of what she's been trying to do, and she just feels like she's stuck this way. So great story. Matt Kent is going to be me at Heroes Con this year. I'd like to meet and interview him. That'd be pretty cool.
So my question is this the book you would take to have him autograph?
Not this particular issue, but I would take all 6 that come out and, hey, would you sign these? Because you're pretty awesome. I like him. Some of the other stuff he's done is a little stranger than normal, but this is definitely one I like from him. So he's been pretty great.
No, it's you. Ask before tea.
Huh?
Basket before bat.
Oh, we're doing just going DC straight?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going.
I mean, unless we've got a company that goes in between.
Well, I mean, do you want to do any of the other? Normally we do.
Let's just do it the way we're doing it.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. All right.
We may kind of change our format, but you know what? Change is good for growth.
DC Comics. We have Basketball Heads #5. So she's in trouble. She's been locked in a cage. One of the son of the sheriff basically has kind of found out that she was sleeping with Liam, the kid who is now missing. The kid apparently was working for the FBI the whole time and was recording their conversations and trying to get dirt on them to give to the FBI. So he basically captured her thinking that she knows what's going on. She had no clue. She had no clue that this guy she'd been with all summer was basically a secret agent. She had no idea. And of course, he thinks that he thinks that she's going to lead him to something she's not. So pretty great. Let's see. You got
Batman Beyond #41. Okay, so for about 10 issues, Terry has been completely unaware who he is. Maybe it's only like 5.
5 or 6. It's been a while.
Due to Falseface. Falseface took his memories as part of absorbing his persona, and then Falseface was killed by Blight, which means no memories for Terry. What I did like...
Did Blight believe he was killing Batman?
Blight I don't know. I think so, maybe.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I read that one. Good question. What really irritated me about this issue is how casually Terry got his memories back. Because the chick he ended up with in the streets just so happened to be the original scientist that helped Blight find a suit, and they were lovers for years. And she knew he was Terry McGinnis, and, you know, we're going to give you McGinnis's body, and they're going to download Blight's personality into Derek Powers, into McGinnis. And she's like, well, I can't do this. His lost memories are preventing it. Here, let me click this button and give him his memories back. And you get that eyes you just did, that wide-eyed Terry's like, I remember who I am. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Sorry, I'm Batman.
Right. And then Elena Grayson shows up and, like, busts
Bam!
out. Yeah.
Batgirl. Is she Batwoman or Batgirl?
She's Batwoman. They actually have that conversation.
Good.
Way to go, Batgirl.
Nice.
Oh, no. I'm Batwoman. And I'm like,
Good. That's
fair
awesome.
enough.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Terry's back. Dick's super mad that his daughter's the Batwoman.
So my question is, and this is a question I had, because I've been reading, I love the story, but I haven't been reading. The costume she has, where did she get it?
It's from the cave.
Is it his? Is it just a backup, or?
Well, yes, and it will adapt to any user.
So
it just develops bra cups. That's the way I picture it. Like
Okay, well, I mean,
she's
that's-
slipping into like this smart mesh spandex, and all of a sudden it goes. Whoop,
Okay, well,
that's
that
awesome.
makes sense. I mean, I can appreciate
And
that.
I would not consider that mature content. So if I went too far, please.
From
please
an
say so.
aesthetic standpoint, that does make sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because at some point we have to have a certain amount of
I mean, to be fair, in Skyrim, if you put the armor on, it all of a sudden gets dense.
Exactly. So you have to have a certain
I just
suspension of
figured
disbelief. And
Nords have really strong boobs.
this
Boom, you know.
suspension of disbelief. So how does Terry get his costume back?
He hasn't yet.
Does that mean she's going to have to give hers up, or does that mean Bruce is going to have to make a new one?
Oh no, I figure they're just gonna be partnered up. It's gonna be just like that. It's gonna be great.
That's weird. All right.
But I want him to like get together with Spidey 2099 at this point. I mean, that would be when the Secret Crisis happens.
Secret Crisis. You said it. You said the word. Yeah! All right. By the way, we have interesting news from DC. We still the rumor is the 5G is completely canceled now.
Oh God, I hope so. Please.
Apparently, the big thing. Apparently, the Scott Snyder hated the 5G concept, and because people like him more than like Dan Didio, they wanted to fire Dan Didio.
Well, the thing I keep noticing on Twitter is every con that they go to, Donny Cates and Scott Snyder take a picture together. Now, how interesting would it be if Snyder running the Batverse and Cates ends up running maybe the Spider-Verse, kind of go, here we go. I think they are great friends. I think they talk a lot. I mean, I might be wrong. Maybe they only see each other at cons, and they're like, hey,
No.
let's do this thing.
There is something going on with this secret. We know from Flash Forward. We know from
The
Doomsday
not-so-secret
Clock.
crisis.
I mean, there's a secret crisis. We know there's going to happen. Something going to happen. We just don't know when. So it is becoming more and more mainstream. But let's talk about the awesomeness that was Curse of the White Knight, number 7.
So Bruce realizes that Jack Napier was right.
Oh yeah.
That all of these other funnel corporations all ultimately make their money through
Him.
Wayne Tech.
Yeah.
And he can't keep being a costume vigilante.
He also he looks at the Waynes and realizes first he's not a Wayne, but even if he had been, it's still been wrong. What
Right.
they've been doing is still wrong. So we talked about this in one of the other ones, but other things we did. But clearly, Harley's in love with him.
Well, I think he's in love with her too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, basically, there's a scene where number one, the dumbest thing ever, because he was going to do it whether the whole city was like yes or no. He's like, he goes out, he publicly announces and decals, which frankly needed to happen a long time ago. But in mainstream, honestly, I mean, I think Bruce Wayne could totally expose himself and still be Batman. But
You need to go.
whoa, we're not talking about Bat Dingus. Batman Damned was an abortion. No. So he gives this speech, and at the end of the speech, he's basically like, I need your permission to be Batman one more time so that I can stop Azrael.
Yeah.
And so he goes to set to do that, and he goes and is with Harley and is speaking to her, and he's like, when this is over, I have no fortune, I have no home, I'm probably going to jail. And she's like, you know what? You'll still have me and the kids.
that's a big statement from someone who had been a villain for so long.
I'm just saying, if Joker hears it, he's shooting him in the face.
Oh, yeah. But no, I don't think Joker will. Now Napier would, but I don't think Joker will.
No, actually, I think Napier can.
Napier would handle it.
Napier can handle it. Joker cannot. Joker is the crazy ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. So I've got two back-to-back I want to talk about. Batman Superman number 6 and Batman Superman number 7. Number 6, and I know you dropped this one. I think you dropped it early because this was the finale of that run. And essentially, most of the heroes are kind of pissed at Batman and Superman because they kept secrets. They've been keeping secrets for a long time. Batman's always kept secrets. That's not a big deal. But Superman keeping secrets isn't bad. They actually, the two of them are going to trying to find Diana because they need her help. They've captured Gordon, and of course Gordon is in a straitjacket. He can't get out. But he's basically like, you people are crazy. I should have killed you a long time ago. Of course, it's like this is the evil Gordon now,
right?
Who's been infected. Well, they go to Diana. They're like, and she basically is on Themyscira battling these monsters she's always wanted to battle because she's taking out her frustrations on these creatures that really it didn't really matter anyway. But they're like, she's kind of mad. He's like, well, you think I'm mad? You're gonna come help or not? So. And she told him, she's like, it's ridiculous. She said, I have this perfect lasso, but I can't trust you guys. Why should I have to lasso you guys to make you tell me the truth? So what's happened is now they're realizing exactly how bad they messed things up. They have to try to fix things. In fact, underneath Crime Alley is where the Batman Who Laughs had his lair. Batman actually bulldozes all of it and rebuilds it all. So he and Bruce and Clark have things they have to fix, and that's what they're going to fix now. At the very end, though, you see a character we haven't seen in quite some time who's kind of been hanging around the Lazarus Pit.
As you do. And
you see him emerge from the Lazarus Pit, and standing in front of him is... so you see Ra's al Ghul, and you see Zod standing in front of him. And Zod has decided he wants to resurrect all of the Bottle City of Kandor. Now...
Okay, wait a minute.
Bottle City of Kandor was killed by Rogue Lazar.
Thousands of insane Kryptonians? Oh, God.
So, he, of course, says, we're going to do this, and Ra's is like, no. So, here, number 7, Batman and Superman are going... What Batman does at the end of this one is very telling. What he says is, because what Batman Who Laughs did was, he created this list and this group of all the people he wanted to infect, all the heroes he wanted to infect.
Which you can see in Hell Arisen.
So what Batman decides to do, and it makes sense, what Batman says is, listen, why don't we make the same kind of list? But this time, let's make a list of the villains that we can start using against him. We can start making our own list. It's not a secret list. It's a list that we can start developing for things, for usefulness for ourselves. And he's like, well, isn't this like when we did Brother Eye? He said, no, because I'm not going to make it secret. It's not going to be like that. So that's what they're trying to do. And in 7, they're going to track down some characters. Like one of the big ones was Kryptonite Man. He absorbed too much. Boy, that's old. Like Superman Annual number 1 was Kryptonite Man. So Kryptonite Man has been dead for a long time. They go to his grave, and of course they can't detect any kryptonite because it's all been siphoned off. But Superman says, I can tell there's some nearby. And of course he's immediately attacked by a man in a mask with a kryptonite sword, who happens to be Ra's al Ghul. Yours. Okay. Anyway, so when I point at you, you just say Ra's al Ghul because you saw it coming because you're smart. Anyway, so yeah, Ra's al Ghul. I was saying, listen, detective, I need your help. I need you to save us from Zod. He's like, well, why would I save you from Zod? He's no. He's trying to resurrect all of the Kryptonians. And of course, Superman's like, he can't. Oh no. So they go to one of the few remaining Lazarus pits left, and of course, Zod's already figured it out. And at the end, you see hundreds and hundreds and thousands of tiny Kryptonians flying toward them. I say tiny because they really are. They're only about 5 or 6 inches
action
tall.
figure size.
Yeah, they're actually smaller than that. They're like 2 inches tall. But anyway, there's thousands of them coming out of Lazarus pit. It's kind of...
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've really enjoyed this. It's kind of nice. Batman and Detective Comics 1020.
Yep. Detective Comics 1020. Clayface. Why do I keep doing that? Two-Face is on a rampage. Something's wrong with him. And I think, based on the first few illustrations, that he's been shot and a bullet's lodged in his brain and he's gone off the deep end.
So there's no good anymore. It's just the bad side.
But, well, no. They're
Just
still
take that
good,
off.
but they're still good, but it's, oh God, what have I done good? There's moments of clarity where it's like, oh no. So, cut from him just gunning some people down to Batman chasing down what's happened to him. They're sure he's taken at least 2 bullets. But he went into this black market coin exchange and he stole all the 1922 peace dollars, Liberty dollars. And he goes and basically gives the Holy Sacrament, but instead of putting the wafer on their tongue, he puts
Good 22.
the 1922 Liberty dollar on their tongue and creates the cult of 2. And they are
This is the
going.
first. This is pretty
They
cool.
are going behind him and cleaning his crime scenes and removing his blood and doing this. So Batman kicks hell out of a few of them and starts to put the pieces together. It's a really good issue. Tomasi's quite good.
He's a great writer. I'm glad that they actually took that over. I've got Far Sector number 4. So this detective from New York City has been given a Green Lantern ring. You're starting to see more and more of her personality, though, but you're starting to see more and more about the ring. So she stops the peacekeepers from firing on and killing the protesters. And basically, like, listen, that's our job. We were told to by the council. She says, you can't just kill people. That's ridiculous. Stop. So they stop, and as she is flying away, the chief of police comes and he says, I found things out about her that are interesting. First of all, her lantern ring is unlimited power. She can do anything she wants to do. I've actually seen, I've seen the Kyle Rayner, and I saw I saw Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart. I know the power of that ring. He said, though, what's interesting though is her ring isn't the same. She's not as powerful, and her ring, even though they need a lantern to recharge, she doesn't. Her ring seems to recharge every day, but there's a limit to her power. This is that aside you start to see. So, and it's true. She goes to the council and she says, hey, listen, you got to stop doing this. And they, well, we've actually done this several times already over the past 100 years. So 12 times over the past 1,000 years, they've put down revolts like this by killing. And she says, you're not doing it anymore on my watch or I'm going to leave. So what you also find out is her ring has a 1-year lifespan. That's it. After a year, it's dead. Now, the ring also says it's at 8% and needs to recharge. It'll take 5 days to get a full recharge. So it's at the point where she might be completely done with a ring. She might not be able to use it at all for a while. She have to just use it on her wits, she's a pretty smart cookie. So this is pretty awesome. What the hell happened in this book? I have never been more confused reading a comic book in my entire life. What was up with the red guys? What was that?
That was the origin story.
That was the origin story.
That was the God's origin story, as told by the Pillars of Creation.
That was so confusing.
It was good.
It was good. I mean, I read it twice. I had to. I read it the first time going, the hell? And I came back and I'm like, it made a little more sense.
I'm almost to the place that there is a type of fantasy or swords and sorcery, I don't know which one you'd pull this under, that it goes too highbrow. The Silmarillion is so highbrow, it's so artsy-fartsy.
It's confusing.
That it's confusing, and I don't want to follow it. My brain goes, And this is on the verge. It's getting too convoluted. It's getting too flashback, flash forward, flash sideways.
This is what's interesting. So it's Last God. It's issue 5, but it's book 1 of the Fellspire Chronicles. Has it always said book 1 or is
always?
Okay, so maybe I've just been missing it. How many books are they going to do with the Fellspire Chronicles? Jesus.
Well, if they keep writing nonsense, they're going to lose enough of their readership that we're only going to have book 1.
I mean, I get the point that there's that created character, and I get the envy, I get all that. Just, man, I think honestly,
it's a bit much.
I think honestly, like Doomsday Clock, I think what's going to wind up happening is when they're all, there's 12 of these, right?
Yes.
When they're all out,
It'll start to make sense.
first of all, I think by issue 6, it better damn well make sense or you're going to lose a lot of people.
Well, and
Honestly.
we're getting a source book. We know from the last preview, so it should be in April.
Yeah.
Source
book's coming.
The source book's coming, which if you need a source book to make your fantasy make sense.
Or to have people understand the nuance of this and that and how they all connect. Sure.
For those of you who read Robert Jordan's Eye of the World series, this is more convoluted.
Good Lord.
It is.
Well, I think, again, I don't know if you remember, if you went back and read Doomsday Clock, when you go all 12 are out, if you went back to the beginning and read them all. I did.
I only experienced that pain once, thank you.
But no, I did. I went back to September 1. I read all 12 because I felt like I needed to. And by the time you get to 12, you're like, it completely made sense. Yeah, I wish Jeff Johns had put it out in a year instead of 2. I think it would have helped. But I think honestly, it's a masterpiece. I think Last God could be that masterpiece, but it's got to
hold the readers.
And there's got to be it's got to be a battle scene, man, because D&D is fun, but you got to have D&D with battle scenes at some point. It's just not fun.
I don't know. I've spent 6 hours so far on my current campaign with nothing but role play.
You have no battle scenes at all?
Not yet.
No chopping heads off?
They might get their first fight tonight.
So, Leviathan Dawn came out. So basically, this is the beginning of Checkmate, essentially, is what's going on. They got some of the people together that basically they're survivors. And what's interesting, now Leviathan bought Markovia. Bought an entire nation.
Doom's not going to...
No. So, see what you did there. So, but no. So, Leviathan, it says he's outplayed the heroes, check and mate. So, yeah, they get a checkmate. So, Mr. Bones was in charge of the DEO. He now is back. It's Mr. Bones, Green Arrow, Talia al Ghul, because Talia is like, this was mine. This was my idea. Someone stole my idea. I'm going to kill people. She's already been killing people, which is pretty great. The female Manhunter, who, of course, is basically nursed back to health by Damien in the Batcave. Of course, not Steve Rogers. Hey-o!
Yep.
Colonel Steve Austin.
Steve Trevor.
Wait, that was $6 Million Man, wasn't it?
Yeah, Steve Trevor.
Too much sugar. So, so basically, and the question, obviously, they get together and they join this new checkmate to go after the Leviathan. It's actually, this was better than the mid-series was.
Wouldn't be hard to do.
Now, here's the thing. Parts of the series were fantastic. You're like, oh, who is it? Who isn't it? Ooh, this is awesome. By the time you get to the end,
It's just a giant disappointment.
Mother... Suicide Squad number 3. It is not living up to the previous Suicide Squad, unfortunately. Still pretty good. And you found out that this isn't the Task Force X doing this. It's someone who has taken the Task Force X and run with it. So it's not a government program anymore. It's basically someone's stolen the information and has now hacked into how to kill them. What you've also found is this group that they actually infiltrated to begin with, the group that they're killing people in the beginning to get them over to their side, they're telepathic. And now they've got they have Deadshot as part of their group, who's going to betray who this new Task Force X is. So this is pretty good, but didn't live up to the last one, because the last one is really, really well done. I see we have gotten now to Year of the Villain, Hell the Risen number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, if this had nothing to do with Punchline, this would still be a pretty good book.
Yes.
Because,
and really, it had almost nothing to do.
Yeah, she was in it.
Punchline.
She's holding Mercy hostage, who I thought was dead. I don't know why I thought Mercy was dead, but so we see that Joker has pretty much outsmarted everyone, including Luthor, for a long time. He's been preparing for this for a while, and Joker just kind of taunts him. It's not even torture; it's just taunting him, like, "Oh, okay, you can try." Okay,
as Lex pokes through his brain psychically.
Oh yeah, that was pretty beautiful. Like, why would you poke through that brain of all brains? Why would you mess with that one? So yes, everybody who's listening, the Punchline is in this. Punchline has one line and
maybe 3 or 4 panels.
3 or 4 panels, yeah. So we're not seeing her big time yet, but this is worth the read, absolutely.
Also worth about $60.
Yeah, between $50 and $70 right now on eBay, depending on how you're looking at it. Amazon's about $60.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is that's a tough book, but I will say it was good, and I don't know if it's worth that much, but it is a first appearance, and this is going to be a big key. So, what you got?
Dynamite.
Ooh.
Chastity number 5. In the terms of consistency and getting what you're paying for, maybe one of the best books on the market.
Yeah.
Absolutely love this. So in the last issue, you find out that the head of the trafficking operation is a werewolf, and she's pretty much defeated Chastity, and in defeating Chastity, her friends jump in, and you looking like maybe Chastity's going to die. Well, of course she doesn't, and you find out that if you're a half vampire and you drink werewolf blood, it's like jet fuel, and so she messes up the werewolf, and
wait, Chastity's a vampire?
She's not turned, but yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
She's a half vampire. She's a Dhampir, if you will.
A Dhampir.
Her, Blade, Vampire Hunter D.
Now is Blade a Dhampir, or he was born with vampiric blood? He's not. He's more than Dhampir, though, right? He's technically he is a vampire, but he is.
All Dhampirs are technically vampires.
Okay, so I never could figure out exactly how they work with him.
The difference is they're living.
Okay, they're actually alive. Their heartbeats and actually are actually alive. Okay,
right,
gotcha.
If they choose not to drink blood, they still are sustained.
They're still functional. Okay.
Yeah, they could have a cheeseburger.
Oh, and his copy is very damaged.
But that's okay.
Unfortunately, sometimes that happens in packing, and this I'll be to be fair, it isn't always Diamond's fault when things are damaged. A lot of times it's the way it's handled from UPS, and so there's not. Sometimes there's no way to prevent things from being damaged. The good thing is he'll get a fresh brand new copy this week, and will be a replacement, and it'll be good to go. So yeah, that's anyway. IDW for me is Dying is Easy number 3. This man, I swear to God, he cannot catch a break. So the 2 kids that he's been in this chase with in the Jeep, they wound up crashing the Jeep. It turns out that they are not the killers, because there's proof they're not the killers. So he, of course, goes back to his old girlfriend's house, and they're trying to lay low, trying to figure out what's going on. As a detective story, it's not bad. This is not a typical Joe Hill story, though, because Joe Hill's very much horror and suspense like his dad. So detective story is a little off for him, but it's really good. And, of course, now
I disagree. I disagree with that statement, because Stephen King, if you've read Mr. Mercedes, and that was very much a cop story. It had supernatural elements.
I never read Mr. Mercedes, so it's one of those.
That whole trilogy is a cop story. The Outsiders is a bit of a cop story, or The Outsider. He's got quite a few. Like even parts of The Stand are former cop.
Yeah, but The Stand is still post-apocalyptic, and I don't know.
I'm just saying that he took a Western and added supernatural stuff to it and gave us The Gunslinger. He took the detective trope and he added stuff to it, and we got quite a few things. I mean, Stephen King had a formula for what he was doing, and I think Joe Hill has that formula too, although this may not have the weird and goofy.
Compared to Lock and Key, and compared to, say, Basketball of Heads and The Plunge, this is different what's currently out there for him. But it's good. I mean, he's a great writer, so this has been very well done. So
did he do Lock and Key as Joe Hill?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. He did. Now, speaking of, before you get to yours, we have this really cool ash can. Now, David has one of these too, but it's an ash can. So
I didn't read it.
We didn't have to have this on here at all, but it's an early review. So, this is Sleeping Beauties. Now, this is based on his book, Stephen King's book, Stephen and Owen King. And this will be out in April. But the ash can is a quick preview. It's like 5 pages. But the idea is it talks to you about the sleeping illness that's affecting only women. It's around the world. It starts in Australia and it kind of spreads throughout the world. And this one woman who is completely unaffected by it, and she kind of walks out of the woods covered in blood when trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm actually really interested. Of course, it's Stephen King, so it's going to be pretty awesome. So art is not bad either. So it's actually kind of beautiful art. So I'm impressed.
TMNT Jenica, number 1.
Yes. Really?
I'm going to read all 3 of them, but
not as good as the other stuff?
The art's off. For it to be a Turtles book. The cover art is pretty representative of the internal art.
Yeah.
It is not to my taste. and it adds on to what Jenica is doing while she's not with the Turtles in the current run, but I did not want this. You find out she's been in prison. You find out how she ended up with the Foot Clan. It is an origin story because she didn't get an origin story in the main book. I don't know. There are probably people who love it. I wasn't one of them. I went, damn, and it's okay.
Okay. I know that it's a hot book right now because
I believe it because it's an origin story.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. We actually our local Nirvana, we actually sold many extra copies than we thought we would because of her. So
I like her. I just didn't care for the book.
So I've been doing Death and Glory. David's also been doing. Sorry about that. Death or Glory. Rick Remender. The only drawback to Rick Remender is, and we both agree about this, is there gets a tipping point with him where he gets a little boring. This is the tipping point. I wasn't really impressed with this book. It was okay. David, I thought David had gotten a copy too. I guess you didn't get yours.
I dropped it 2 issues ago.
Yeah. It's good, but I'm not gonna.
The guy with the great fro and the no junk, really.
Yeah, and it's basically it's continued kind of more of that. I don't know. It's okay. It's one of those that I kind of want to see all the way through because we're at issue 9 now. I think there's only going to be 12 issues. But I kind of wish he would stop doing this one and go back to 7 to Eternity because that was a great book that was that high fantasy book that just kind of slacked off. But speaking of amazing, wow. So this character we see in
Spoiler alert, turns out Grandpa is Dracula. There you go.
Okay, that's all we're going to say?
Do we need more than that?
So yeah, the whole time, Grandpa, the one who was in the casket the whole time, the one they thought was dead, he's like, I've died several times. It's like, how'd you do that? It's like, I've died several times. Don't you worry about me.
So Nicodemus is the name of the biblical first vampire who drank the blood of Christ and became cursed as a vampire.
To only walk the night.
To only walk the night. And Nicodemus has traveled the world, and they were losing some of their way, and they go to Vlad Tepes III,
who was already evil to begin with. He was one evil SOB to begin with.
In real life, I mean,
truly an evil person.
He was called the Impaler because that's what he did. He would set up camp. He would have a whole bunch of his enemies captured, and while he sat and ate lunch, he would order people impaled in various ways. Down the throat, up the butt, through their center, whatever. And he varied it up because he was an evil thing. And one of the things that the legends talk about is, and where some of the vampirism comes into it from a legendary perspective, is as these people were dying within feet of him, they would vomit blood or they would have blood erupt from their bodies, and it would land in his food, and he would just keep eating. And he was showing his strength in this way. Well, they kind of show that. The reason I'm giving this history lesson, they kind of show that, and Nicodemus goes to him and gets revivified by turning him into a vampire. And so JV and that whole line are directly descended from Dracula. Who
Vlad Tepes
is the most ridiculously awesome vampire.
Now here's the thing: even if you killed Dracula, you still wouldn't be killing the vampiric line, but
because Nicodemus.
But Nicodemus is a hidden character. You're not going to see Nicodemus at all. So this is very great. I tell you what, man, we talk about Donny Cates all the time. Like, good Lord, he keeps going. Now this is, of course, we talked about this last time. This is Tall Tales Chapter 2 of 6. So we have literally four more issues of Tall Tales. I can't wait.
Sex Criminals number 27.
I'll be honest. This is one of those times when I had the book. It was in the bottom of the stack. Didn't realize it was there until it was too late for me to read it. I'm like, okay,
You're going to want to read it because we have a 3-year love affair with this. But
yeah,
but
I will read it. Obviously,
it's very apparent that they're finishing this up.
Yeah.
Last issue, he was in prison. He was in prison. Susie and him were talking. This issue, Keagleface goes and threatens Badal and says, if you come after any of these people again, I'll kill you. Turns out Susie's in talking to him and is saying, all right, what do we need to do to finish all of this? issue 30, which we'll talk about in our Diamond Comic Previews episode, is coming. It's the next to the last issue. They're going to do 30, and then they're going to do issue 69.
Yeah.
I've loved Sex Criminals from day one. I'm really hoping we get less.
Yes, and thanks to you.
So have you, yeah.
Honestly, when my wife and I first met David, one of the things he was like, "Have you tried this yet?" And of course, we're like, "Okay, now we're hooked." Holy crap! How dare you?
There weren't even trades out at that point. I had to order you like a third print copy of issue number 1.
Yep. There were no graphic novels. Well, we wound up getting a couple first printings at Fractions table. So I mean, because he had some first prints that were really cool. So yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah.
We get Marvel.
I mean, that's what's next in the stack. Avengers 31.
Great book. Essentially, so we know that Tony was stuck in time, back in time,
Right.
millions of years in the past, and what he had to do is he had to use his armor effectively to save himself. He's been trying to find minerals all around him in the cave, and what's been happening is the Avengers of this time know who he is, but refuse to help him. Once they figured out, he meets the Starbrand, he meets Odin, and of course,
What did he call the Starbrand? Because that was my favorite part of the book. Hold on. This is worth cracking the book. It was like,
he even says, "You have a phoenix? What?"
I dealt with such and such Starbrand, and I was dying. Where's it at?
But anyway.
Brock Lesnar Starbrand. I was like, yes!
So we get Tony, and Tony, as he is getting weaker and as his technology is failing, he of course is sustaining himself on whatever's around him. And what's happening though is the longer he's there, the more he's tempted. He sees this woman appears with this jug of wine, and he's like, "No, thank you." He kind of pushes her away. Then more women appear with jugs of wine. And of course, as he keeps saying no, then the brutes appear. Then the Neanderthals appear, trying to kill him, and he gets them away. And he realizes he's being tempted. This is that last temptation of Christ kind of thing, where he's being tempted by the devil. And it literally is Mephisto tempting him the whole time. And or is it Mephisto, or just the devil?
No, it's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
Well, and you find out, and this is a changing of the origin of Tony Stark, which they are continuing to do, that trying to use X-ray contact lenses, he had seen that his father was the head of a secret evil cult, which kind of pushes the idea that the Runaways cult
Yeah.
kind of predates that generation.
Well, the Howard Stark was part of that Runaways cult, the same
Right.
cult that the Runaways actually wound up taking down by killing their own parents. That was. And what's interesting is, you figure Tony was that weird scamp that could create and do things like that, and that made sense to me. But what you didn't see is, first of all, you see one of the really, really coolest things is it's a first appearance ice armor. That's actually kind of cool.
Ice Age armor.
Literally Ice Age armor. I mean,
You know,
come
a
on.
problem with this issue is he ends up back in modern time in this issue.
Right.
We needed about 3 more issues of him.
But this was filler. This is all this was a filler issue. That's all 31 was. Filler between 32 starts a new storyline with Starbrand, I guarantee it, or even with Empire, because we have the beginning of Empire coming this month.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah. So this should be interesting to see what happens. But no, I liked it. I think it was good. I kind of have a new respect for Tony, though. I mean, because he did have to survive that long by himself with no help. His ingenuity is pretty amazing. Is he a complete butthole? Yes, but I mean, he still had to survive.
And Howard Stark's back.
And a version of Howard Stark is imprisoned in Vegas with.
Well, he's not imprisoned. He's outside the cell.
Was he outside the cell?
He was outside the cell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's with
Mephisto.
So
the claim from Mephisto is he is Tony Stark's real father.
yeah, he is Tony Stark's real father, not Howard Stark.
Right. So we know Tony isn't really a Stark.
No, he's not really Stark. Yeah, Arno Stark.
Now Bruce isn't a Batman, or Bruce isn't a Wayne, and Tony isn't a Stark. And
Let's change things up a little bit, shall we? Avengers of the Wasteland #2. So we see the identity of Captain America.
It is not Steve.
Yep, not Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers was killed.
I am so glad.
Not
Not that I'm glad that Steve is dead, but I'm glad that they did not
Right.
super soldier serum him back to life.
So apparently, Doom found the super soldier serum and started using it.
Made the lieutenants of Latveria. It made me so happy.
Of the 400 people, only 99 survived the cut, and then of the 99, only 2 actually survived to become super soldiers.
And
he's the one that wasn't evil.
And Grant killed the other one.
Yeah,
Because
this
he was
the guy's
evil.
name is Grant.
I'm Grant.
It's actually pretty great. What's rough is that this guy, he isn't Steve Rogers in any way, shape, or form. He's not a bad guy, but he's also not gonna stop.
The car gets flipped over as they get ambushed by
Yeah.
basically some marauders, and not the marauders as in Kitty,
Some wasteland
marauding
marauders, yeah.
people in the wasteland.
Yeah.
God, now it's getting hard to drop words without qualifying titles. Slow down, Marvel. So, Grant just comes out and is
Just starts banging,
murdering people with a shield.
Yep, it's like, and they go, whoa, hold on, Tex. It's like, so that's like,
And then you get a back and forth. Did Dwayne, the Ant-Man, lead Doom, and is he a mole, or is the honest... Is Grant the mole, or is there a mole?
well, Grant admitted to being this Agent Latveria until he realized he could not kill women and children, that he had to be, and then he got obsessed with being Captain America because he realized he had the ability. So,
Right.
Pretty neat character. Black Panther #21 came out for me. It's interesting. So there's been this huge space battle going on for a long time, or for several issues now. Basically, the bad guys are trying to come through the gate to come to Earth to invade Earth, and so Nakia has been trying to block their way the whole time. They actually use Storm to help. The Storm comes in and she brings with her flowers from Krakoa that can be poisonous to humans, and so she poisons the humans. It's actually pretty great. This is a great story. Once this is in graphic novel, I think you might want to try it. It's pretty great. So I've loved this story. So no Black Panther?
I hate Wakanda.
Oh, makes me sad. Okay.
I want Wakanda and Atlantis to go to war and Namor to knock it off the map.
Oh, that's the next.
And
movie.
that's not. It's not that I.
That's the next movie.
Not that I don't like Black Panther himself. I just cannot stand the kind of highbrow, fancy science coming out of Wakanda, woo, kind of crap they got going on.
So, one more for me. Fantastic Four, Grim Noir. So basically, it's all about Ben Grimm. He's being tortured by these weird dreams that he has, and and there's this woman across the street who is this beautiful singer. She comes to. Basically, one day they don't hear the singing anymore. They can't figure out what's going on with her. Well, he's having these weird dreams and about her being kidnapped, and what turns out is happening is there's this entity who has been feeding on his despair, his horrible life, all these emotions have been feeding. They've been feeding on him, his misery, because quite honestly, he's had a horrible life. I mean, it's his father was abusive. His brother got killed in the streets of Brooklyn, and he got killed on Yancey Street. This is a rough time. So basically, he's been turned into this orange creature, and he's constantly feeling these horrible feelings. But now his life is kind of together. So,
but he doesn't have a heart of stone.
Anyway,
and he gets his rocks off.
He does get his rocks off. That's true. So basically, he's decimated by this creature. Decimated. But what he does is he fights back and takes the creature down and saves the girl. But is it the end? And probably not. But this is a one shot that's kind of in between the next issue. Which
Jerry Dugan wrote it.
Yeah, and it's Jerry Dugan. Pretty great writing. So, but
Hey, Ghost Rider number 5.
Oh yeah, great book. So, Punisher appears. Why?
Because a cop's been killed.
Right. So
Wolverine
Wolverine
appears.
because
because a flaming-headed something did this, and it could have been a mutant.
right. And he realizes it isn't.
Yeah.
But they know immediately who
But
did
they're
it.
buds, and
Yeah.
they know Danny, and they know Johnny.
Right.
And so Punisher very nicely shoots the sport bike out from underneath Danny. Danny turns into the Knight of Corruption. they pretty soon figure out that they can't stop him as the Knight of Corruption, no more than they can stop him as Ghost Rider.
But the caretaker then says, hey, listen, there's a bigger problem going on. You've got to take down Johnny. He's the problem. And, of course, in the meantime, Mephisto has been kind of torturing Johnny. Like, hey, listen, just let me go. I'll fix it all. Don't worry about it. No, I'm good. He's like...
He's dragging Mephisto behind the bike.
It's pretty awesome.
I had never realized that Danny Ketch is the sport bike rider.
Oh, yeah.
Because it had that giant shield on the front of it.
Right.
And they've drawn it. Clearly, some people who didn't ride motorcycles drew the motorcycle for him for a lot of years. But he rides a Kawasaki Ninja-like
Or
bike.
a Buell. Yeah.
No, it isn't a damn Buell. So...
What's wrong with being a Buell?
Buells are ashamed of being Buells, much less... But he rides
Buells aren't good enough to
he
be Harleys,
rides
though,
a
so.
sport bike.
It is a sport bike, yeah.
Johnny's the classic cruiser
Harley.
Harley kind of guy.
Yeah.
Danny is the sport bike rider, and so Danny is officially my Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I do. I love this book. And, of course, at the end, as Mephisto's being dragged through the desert,
Face first on the asphalt.
this round portal appears. You just know who's on the other side. It's, of course, Doctor Strange. He's like, what are you doing with my prisoner? I mean, come on. Going to be an epic battle.
I mean, to be fair, if it goes the way of Thunderbolts, Punisher knows how to choke Johnny out. So
Should be fun to watch.
this had one line of dialogue. Giant size X-Men, Jean Grey and Emma. There were some wonderful...
This is a great book. Beautiful
There were
book.
some wonderful things that happened in this book that bled over a little bit into X-Men in my mind because...
Yeah, very much so.
Because, well, the actual issue of X-Men where Scott and Wolvie are kind of talking.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And they work together to find out what's going on with Storm, and Storm has had a virus implanted in her by the floral,
children of whatever.
yeah, children of the vault, children of the flower, whatever.
Yeah.
That in 30 days she's going to die.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't matter. She'll be resurrected, but still.
maybe not. Otherwise, it's no big deal and there's no plot. So I have to say there has to be some danger to it.
There has to be some reason. Well, I guess maybe too. If there's a virus now, is it a virus that's transmutable? What happens to them? So that what do they do with Storm at this point? So
And really amazing storytelling that got into what it is like for those two women to be psychic and deal with one another.
they kind of hate each other, but they also kind of have to deal with each other too now. So they have to. It has to be a détente. You know, there's got to be okay, fine. We'll be okay.
I'm not sure I don't like Emma better.
No, I'm always gonna like Jean better, but I like Emma. Man, she's just devious and awful. I love it. New Mutants,
Yep.
really awesome.
So Boom Boom, Armor, and
Sage, no.
no, well, Sage is in the others, but or Sage is working with him, but Amara, who is Lava.
Yeah,
Is her name Lava?
yeah. It's Lava, right? Yeah.
I don't know. The chick on the cover.
There's so many mutants. God.
Well,
So-
and I didn't know Amara came from Nova Romana.
Yeah.
Or Nova Roma.
Yeah. So Nova Roma being that secret society, that essentially they're the last of the.
It's Justin Jampoli.
Yeah, no, Justin Jampoli, yeah.
Only in the
When
Savage
I read this,
Land.
I'm going, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
No, it was Brazil. There's a special small enclave in Brazil where there's like. So essentially, what's happened is these mutants are trying to escape, and they're being hunted by these animals as because they're being these animals are being used to take down these kids who are trying to escape through the portals, and so that's why they go. And so they realize when they find one of the kids and they actually kill one of these animal things, and they go to the Romana and basically they're like, okay, well come on in, we'll help you with this, and then they realize what's really going on. They go hunt these animals down, and Boom Boom, who I swear to God, she's such a spoiled, rotten brat, but also so amazing at the same time. What she do? She shoves something down the guy's.
She is so vapid.
Oh yeah.
That's what I like about her. Boom Boom used to be the little short fat girl.
Yeah.
And she has graduated into the tall, statuesque, blonde bombshell.
Yeah.
And because she's made that jump, she's aware now that she's hot. And so she's unaffected by everything. She goes around stealing from people, from Robert in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
Bobby DaCosta, which, I mean...
What she stole was a pen that was in diamond.
Diamond
pen.
and vibranium. Yeah, so great. It's a fun book, and
Yeah.
and it's another place where Hickman and Brisson and all that group are setting up other enemies of the X-Men.
Yeah, there's a group of, I don't know what to call them. You know, I don't know if, I think we've seen these
Monsters?
but I think we've seen these people before, but I'm not sure where. They seem vampiric, but they're not. I don't know. It seemed interesting, so it'd be kind of fun to read. Punisher Soviet #4. So the big bad Russian villain they're trying to take down, they realize where his wife is. They kidnap his wife, and it turns out this is not some vapid, kind of dumb woman. This woman who's actually been helping him rearrange his illegal affairs, making them legal affairs, so that way he can get out of the illegal part and go legit. Now this is a guy who this is his 5th wife in 10 years. The other ones have either disappeared or
The hell is this, Henry VIII?
He basically gets bored with him and kills him. But this one is different. This one is smart. She's incredibly beautiful. She's not going to let him throw her away. So basically, when she's captured, she's like, listen, hey, this is who I am. And of course, she's stalling a little bit, trying for time, because she knows she'll be rescued, because she has a tracker in her. But of course, these two, the Punisher, Frank, and this Russian Punisher, are much smarter than the average bear. So they know how to get her, and they know how to get him there. So great book with Garth Ennis's master of the storytelling. So why would you go back to Cloud City?
I'm going to predict now one of us is going to take this as book of the week.
Oh yeah. Why would you go back to Cloud City? Why? Why would
So
you?
Leia wants to figure out how to have Han not frozen carbonite.
Yeah.
She needs to figure out how to reverse the process.
Right.
Lando wants to take his city back.
Right. He literally
And-
he has his special code was this wristwatch thing. It's like he can shut down defenses and do anything he needs to do.
Also, I think he's a little bit gay for Lobot.
I
But
think so too.
it's a weird dynamic.
Well, I mean, but we know he's pansexual. We know that from the Lando from the Han Solo movie. We know he's pansexual, so it would not be surprising for them to have been a thing. I mean, who
I
cares?
need to tell him to stay away from the cookware.
I'm just saying. So anyway, bam, in the pan. So anyway, and then of course Luke is now going after his lightsaber.
Right.
He knows it's somewhere. He felt that someone has it. He knows where it is, but now he has to find it. So Lando sends him to the one place where they actually have all the detritus that gets reclaimed.
that scene. It's just tons and tons of junked Imperials.
And there's Ugnaughts.
Yeah.
And Ugnaughts in there. He's like, oh, man. So you see him and R2 going, oh, at the same
And then
time.
he has to stop looking to go rescue everybody else.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, and Leia gets frozen in carbonite. Taken away by the Empire.
Okay. So. But not taken away yet.
No, she's
not gone yet. She's
look, the
still
cover art for the next issue is Vader looking at that carbonite casket. I mean, that's amazing.
We'll see. X-Force #8.
I almost slipped my wrist reading this. Pete and Nina have been... I mean, they're former lovers anyway, but...
I get the reality of the situation here. I get the fact that, yes, they've both been badly beaten and are just now finally recovering. And they're like, I don't want to have to remember that. I just kill me. Let me die.
And they choose not to.
They choose not to. Because the whole point is, listen, we just kill ourselves and just tell them I don't want to remember that part of things.
Right.
But they don't do that. They survive. And they go fight more because that's who they are. They're so strong.
And they go she kills Negadomino.
Yeah, Negadomino.
Which is all it was, is
That's all it
Negadomino.
was, yeah.
And some of her luck comes back, and she realizes more of it's out there, and they attack a train that has tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of clones and parts of her.
Yeah.
And she's going to get her luck back, and
Well,
he helps.
My favorite part is it's like they shut the door in front of me. He's like, okay. He smashes the door open. I mean, like, and to escape, he's like, oh, there's no escape hatch. Let's just open the side of the train. So yeah,
Colossus
Piotr is
yeah.
amazing. I love Peter. He's awesome.
He's really yeah.
And this is another good Ben Percy book. Genuinely,
This dude can really write.
yeah.
A lot of heart, a lot of emotion.
But let's talk about Hickman.
Let's talk about the cult
Wow.
of X-Men, because that's the only thing I can call this now. So they basically spend 2 pages calling out Scarlet Witch for being a horrible mutant.
Well, let's start at the beginning.
That is the beginning.
No. Start at the beginning where we talk about let's talk about Scott and Logan.
Do we have to?
So they're sitting in their
Dude,
sitting on in their private thing, and Scott's like, "Are you going to this ceremony?" He's like, "Nope. Why would I do that?" because it's a thing. It's what we do now. It's like, nope, not going. Don't care. You sure? And essentially,
the X orgy is real. Scott is banging Jean and Emma. Wolverine is banging Jean and Jean only.
I don't think he's banging Jean. I don't think Scott's banging either of them at this point.
Oh, I think you're wrong.
I think that he has not reestablished that dominance.
Well, Scott and Jean come out of the room together, and she basically walks by and kisses Wolverine, and then she departs, and they sit down.
Be fruitful and multiply. Thus saith the X-Men.
I was not ready for, the X orgy. Emotionally, and I'm a very sexually open and liberal kind of person. I'm very body comfortable, but whoa.
So the crux of this is, when you are a mutant and you've been depowered, because essentially and anyone who hasn't read House of X, you guys are nuts because House of M. House of M was one of the best storylines ever in Marvel Comics because essentially
she depowers pretty much everybody.
She says no more mutants, and it's literally there's a sphere that goes out, and almost millions of mutants across the world are depowered. There's 98 left.
Yeah,
198 left. And she depowers damn near everybody. So what's happening now is they're repowering the people who are still depowered. They're giving them their gift back. So should be interesting.
But in order to claim their gift, because right now they're human,
right?
Even though technically they're mutant enough to qualify for the resurrection protocol.
But in order to have that happen,
which to me says that they can resurrect anybody. Xavier could go out and be like, Steve Rogers, I'm going to grab your brain, and I'm going to download it, and I'm going to keep it, and if you get killed, I'm going to resurrect Captain America. Oh, and while I'm resurrecting Captain America, I'm also going to give him Magneto's friggin' powers, and Xavier's friggin' powers.
Because that's what they keep talking about. And by the way...
People are writing wills saying...
Exactly, that's the point. And Scott's looking at Kurt and says, did you see the wills? And he says, yeah, I saw them. Why can't I just come back with Magneto's power? He's just like,
in Magneto's body, at 20. So
quite honestly, yeah, we're getting
Hickman
this.
delves into this really interesting conversation. If we could do this in the real world,
would we?
Would I come back as Michael Phelps with my brain? Would I come back with my personality and memories and all of that stuff with Michael Phelps' body and Stephen Hawking's brain and the basketball skills of Michael Jordan? I mean,
yeah, no, you're not wrong. This is,
and that's what would I think happen.
And this is the ethical dilemma that even the X-Men, even the Quiet Council are facing right now.
Right.
And my favorite part is Apocalypse challenging, you can just simply die. That's fine, no problem. There's no shame in it. You don't have to fight back, and of course she fights back. So.
And there's a million.
And this is one of the Guthrie kids,
there's
right?
one, Arrow, who is Ariel Guthrie.
Yeah, Arrow Guthrie. Yeah.
So there's a million depowered mutants who are mutants but do not currently have the power set, that they're going to go through the Crucible, and if they die in the Crucible, they are then resurrected, and Apocalypse is the Hatchet Man.
So my question, and this is the question I've had since damn near the beginning, there's two extremely powerful mutants that are not anywhere on Krakoa that I've seen, and that's Wanda and her brother.
Well, her brother's dead.
So what?
But
so what? He's the fastest man alive. So
that's not something I'd want to brag about.
I mean, so the point is, why isn't he alive? Where is he? Why, if there is a resurrection protocol for him, why not have the resurrection protocol for him? So I wonder for Wanda.
Wanda will flip her and destroy everything.
I think that now that it doesn't matter, they're in charge now. Wanda can be. I don't know Wanda. She should be part of the council. She's an Omega level mutant.
My question is can Xavier dig deep enough into Wanda's brain to resurrect her not real kids?
Well, they're alive.
Are they?
Yes. One of them is Teddy's boyfriend. Speed
Wiccan?
and Wiccan, they're her two kids.
Oh, really?
Yes, they've been alive since the Young Avengers. They actually were never dead. She just didn't know that she had actually created them. In reality, they weren't with her. So yeah, that she says, she says no more mutants because she doesn't realize that they were alive the whole time.
Well, nobody is Scarlet Witch positive on Krakoa currently.
And that's the other thing. We don't know where Speed is right now either. Because Speed and Wiccan are not talking to each other for whatever reason. I can't remember. They got into a fight about something. They're not talking to each other. We don't know where Speed is. He is a mutant. We just don't know where he is.
Okay.
Or no, wait, no, he's not a mutant. His speed is magic based.
Okay, so let's talk about mutant, not mutant.
So, yeah, you mess with the Fantastic Four, you really mess with the wrong people. So
They made it to Krakoa, didn't they?
So it's interesting to me because it's like they're talking to Scott, and Scott's like, "Listen, we don't have your kids. I promise. I know that Xavier and Magneto coming to you was rough, but they really were well intentioned. They're like, I don't care. You have my kids. I promise you. I don't know where the kids are. I don't have your kids. And actually, Doom had the kids the whole time
on the Latvarian island that he escapes to,
which is interesting. It's like, and Doom has no evil. I don't think there's an evil plan for Doom. I think he literally wants to help. And he wants to be better.
How does he love Valeria and...
They are literally the children he should have had with Sue. That's exactly what they are.
Okay.
They're the children he should have had. And that's how he feels about him. But he literally, when she calls him uncle, she's not kidding.
No.
That is her favorite uncle. That's not really an uncle. And the fact that...
Uncle Ben isn't Uncle Ben either.
Exactly. Not really
Grimm's
uncle.
not related to him.
Right, but it's...
Johnny's the only real uncle they've got.
Yeah, so I do think... No, I do think, honestly, he is trying to show Reed he's smarter than Reed.
Well, and I think Reed doesn't want to give the answers, and Doom is willing to do so. Also, this book shows clearly that Sue Storm is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah, she always has been.
We need to be reminded of that every once in a while.
She's not the smartest, but she's the most powerful. Because my favorite part is, so Reed creates these suits that are malleable to them, that are completely impenetrable, no psychic can get in, and they basically are attuned to Sue. So when she turns her power on, they're invisible. Yep. So they're having this council meeting, and Scott's like, they could be here right now. And Kurt's like, yes, and they'd be invisible. And they're like, oh crap!
And they show up.
That's what they realize.
And the fight happens.
So yeah, and Magneto can't even stop him. It's pretty great. So yeah, it's a great book.
To be fair, they run away pretty quickly. And once Sue's down,
yeah, but he knows how to kick her back. Anyway, he's the smartest man alive for a reason.
No, he's not. Peter Parker's smarter than him.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Blue Marvel probably is smarter than all of them, but still,
yeah,
we're not going to see him for a while. All right, so White Ash from Scout Comics. This is one of my last ones. So the first issue I read, it's about a coal mining town, and you're thinking, oh, okay, it's a vampire thing. There's a vampire that's trying to stop for whatever reason. And you find out, no, it's not a vampire thing. It's a Fables thing. So essentially, this young lady here, she's part of a group of
gymnasts who can put their foot in their vagina.
She is she's part of a group that essentially goes after what they believe to be monsters. Not monster hunters, but stopping people. And the vampire you do see is an actual vampire. The one who goes through the mine and actually nearly kills people, nearly kills everybody. He actually is trying to stop... he's actually trying to stop... not trolls, sorry.
I can't help you with this. I didn't read it.
What's Gimli? Gimli's a...
Dwarf?
Dwarf, yes. He's trying to stop the dwarves, because the dwarves are the ones that are doing the mining. So basically the town is full of dwarves, trolls, vampires, vampire hunters. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are here. It's kind of cool.
Sounds cute.
I'm glad I read the second part. One more book. One more book. This is called Finger Guns by Vault. So everyone does this themselves, whatever, or they go, they do the finger guns thing, right?
Did you really just explain finger guns?
So I did a little mansplaining there. I'm sorry, but this is, people have been doing this for a long time. It's kids play cops and robbers and the guns or whatever. So this kid's going through class and he realizes he can start manipulating people with his finger. He says finger gun. If he does it with two fingers, apparently it shows them shows evil. They do bad things. They get mad. One finger, and they go back to being good. He realizes this as he's in a mall, and he's just torturing people throughout the mall. And this girl he's bumped into earlier, she actually has the same gift he does. She finds him, and they kind of go together to kind of figure out what's going on. So, issue 1 was really fun. I really can't wait to read more. So that's it for me, though, as you clearly have zoned out and are not paying attention to anything I'm saying anymore. What else we got?
You lost me at finger guns. You lost me at finger guns.
Wait.
I don't feel controlled, but I may smack you with this book. All right, guys. Bam! Book of the week.
Book of the week. I'm gonna go with X-Men number 7.
I'll take Star Wars number 3.
Yeah.
Because it was fantastic. All right, guys. Again, please promote that hashtag. Is it Monday yet? That kind of thing.
Is it Monday yet?
We're making a point to
or is,
have
is it Monday at 10 p.m.?
Is it Monday at 10 p.m.? Fine.
Is it we're doing that one?
We can do any of them that are catchy enough to get people to press the hashtag.
The whole point is we want people to be interested
and excited.
Follow the podcast. It's fun. We have a good time.
Yeah.
We have a local comic store, Nirvana Comics, which actually we're doing this in Nirvana Comics, but we have a lot of fun doing this, and we hope that people have fun watching, enjoy what we're doing, or listening, or however you're doing this, because we do have a YouTube channel as well. Just in case you're not listening, just in case you're watching on YouTube, you can listen as well. But
so guys, we're going to do a previews episode after this, and then we are also doing
the big previews.
Yes. If we have time before our special interview today.
Yeah, special guest today too. Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah. So you guys have a great one.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it.
And now I get to walk around and press the button. Do your thing, Vamp.
I wasn't prepared.
Play us out, Harvey.
Is it tweet?